Hey guys, it's Joe, the Joe Madden Sports Podcast, joined again by Josh Ingles of Covers.com. Josh, welcome back to the show. How is your Monday afternoon treating you?
Monday's great. Great Father's Day weekend with the boys. Looking to get back. I have Mondays off from covers. So my day's funny. So a lot of people hustle and do what I do full time to hustle,
Yeah.
but I hustle on the side and I do some electrical work on the day. So I'm coming right after a shift. So I'm excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you here. Father's Day. I'm glad you had such a good Father's Day. I want to say happy Father's Day to all the dads that I didn't say happy Father's Day to yesterday, including yourself. Great day with the kids,
Awesome.
I guess.
Awesome. Arms a little sore from throwing stones down by the river, but got to come back and watch that epic Jays game with them. So that was something special too.
Yeah, can you believe how the Jays ended up getting the win in that game, 10-9 over the Yankees in a game I
Crazy.
just didn't think they had it.
No, I had the Yankees team total over 4.5 for the win. And then I hit the live game over like 17. And then that grand slam was the win on the over. So it had a double meaning for sure.
Yeah, it was crazy to think. 19 runs in that game yesterday. Who would have thought between these two teams, we know offensively have the power, but still, it's the Yankees to allow that many runs. It was just crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. But then we got locked and loaded here for game 3 tonight on the Monday back to Tampa Bay. Let me turn things around to you, Joe. What are you expecting today in at Amalie Arena?
This is going to be really interesting. I don't know if the Yankees can come out with as much power as we saw yesterday against the Blue Jays, against the Tampa Bay Rays here. So it's going to be quite the game between the Yankees and the Rays tonight. I got to kind of
What
lean.
about on the ice though in Tampa Bay?
Oh, you want to talk the ice? I thought you were
Oh,
going
we
back to
can
the
get
diamond.
we can get
I
right to it.
I can't wait to talk the ice tonight. This is going to be a fantastic game. In my heart, I want the Avs. I'm staying off the side for the full game, Josh. I've got to take the Avs in the first period because we're getting beautiful plus money on that puck line. I think they come out and dominate again in that first period, like we've seen. But I don't know. I'm scared for the full game. What are you doing in this one?
I don't know. Let's just go through the process. So before we really dig into anything, obviously, the first thing we should be doing is looking at the prices on the board and how they've compared over since the beginning of the series. Tampa Bay opened plus 150 in game 1, which was pretty high. That would put them at like plus 110 at home in game 3.
Yeah.
But the books, every game so far, the books have moved the line towards Tampa Bay. So the closing number has always been shorter than the opening number. We're seeing it again today, which is really funny because everybody's on the Avs, but the line is moving the other way on Tampa Bay. Opened as a pick 'em. Tampa Bay sitting as slight favorites at minus 115. But I wouldn't be afraid. If you like Colorado, I wouldn't be afraid to move on the Avs here just because you're looking at the market movement. The market's been wrong twice already so far in the series. Looking at totals, this game is sitting minus 130 to the under 6, which is it's the shortest it's been to the total. I mean, game 1, I think, closed at over 6, minus 125. So, big difference. Books are thinking Tampa's going to kind of slow things down. And I think that's the only way Tampa Bay is going to win this game. They're
Yeah.
not going to compete. You mentioned the first period. Minus 120 to the over on the first period looks appetizing. We've seen a lot of early goals. Colorado team total. So this is really weird. When you look at prices in derivative markets like team totals, sometimes they haven't adjusted to the full game line. So we know that Tampa Bay is the favorite now at minus 115. But the Colorado team total over 2.5 is minus 160 compared to Tampa Bay minus 155.
Yeah.
So Colorado's shorter on the money line, but they're the underdogs.
It's crazy. It
It
really
doesn't
is.
make any sense. So
No.
it's just like the market hasn't adjusted to it.
Yeah.
So if you want to hit the Colorado money line, maybe sprinkle a bit on the team total itself. What did you see in game 2 that maybe I know we were talking before and we thought that
Yeah.
Tampa Bay would make the adjustments, but what did you see in game 2 where it looked like Colorado was making all the adjustments?
Yeah, you know what? I just don't see that urgency. And it makes no sense to say urgency because we know Tampa has urgency, but that drive offensively, we keep seeing Colorado just shutting them down, getting those block shots on goal. They were only able to get those 16 on Kemper in the last game. If Colorado continues to be so strong on both sides of the puck, because I think a lot of people are forgetting what they're doing defensively, to shut down Tampa to only 16 shots on goal. I would never have made that bet that Tampa would get under 20 shots on goal in game 2. I expected a lot more out of them offensively. I expected more urgency. I think we're seeing a lot of Tampa, especially in that first period, and why I like the Avs in the first period is they come out in that first period and play more of a reactive game. If they come out and play a reactive game again tonight at home in this game 3, they might as well pack their bags and go home. Absolutely. I think. Just get off the ice because they can't play a reactive game. They have to play their own game and not let Colorado play their game at all.
Yeah, they have to dictate the pace of play. And that's why I think the total, I mean, always assume that the books are the smartest people when it comes to talking about these games. And I think that's why we see that total starting to dip to minus 130. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some 5.5s closer to puck drop. But we were talking heading into game 2, and we expected John Cooper and Tampa Bay to make all the adjustments from game 1 to game 2, but it was actually Colorado and Jared Bednar that made even tighter adjustments defensively from those 2 games. I mean, Kemper is obviously the team's biggest weakness. I think most people can agree on that. And they just didn't even let that affect them in game 2. You talked about 16 shots, and we were talking about block shots in game 1. Well, Colorado didn't even have to block a lot of shots in game 2 because Tampa took just 29 shot attempts. That is an incredibly low number. Most teams average roughly 60 per game. Tampa Bay had just 4 high danger chances. This is gross. 0.35 expected goals at 5-on-5. It was probably the most perfect hockey game I've ever seen play defensively, and you touched on it well. The defensive side of Colorado is so underrated. Tampa cannot gain the offensive zone with the puck. You see them. They just get stood up, and the transition game works so well off of that with Colorado, and you have speed going the other way. It's a dangerous thing. And even if they do get the pucks in deep, it's not like they can even establish a forecheck. That is a great defensive team. No one's giving, like, Devon Taves, probably a top 10 defenseman in hockey. Bowen Byram, he's a former first-round pick. He's solid. Josh Manson was probably the best defenseman picked up. I mean, sorry, Toronto fans and Giordano, but I think Josh Manson was the best defenseman picked up at the deadline. These guys are deadly. And then you got Johnson and Johnson, who, I mean, they're not incredible, but they're great depth guys. There was a really good point in game 2 when they had a live interview with John Cooper talking. I think it was already down 3-0 or something real quick. And they always talk about slowing teams down. And everyone just talks about it as a natural talking point, and you hear lots of talking heads. But he kind of delved into it a little more, and you saw it. The zone exits from Colorado happen so quickly and deep in their end. By the time they get to mid-ice, they're going full steam. Yeah. They have so much speed going up. And there's always a third defenseman, a third player in that, and it's usually the defenseman. And that's not something that you can slow down. The possession was 28-72. That is just so dominant. And, I mean, everyone wants to talk about last change, but this is a Colorado team that's 7-0 on the road, scoring 5.12 goals per game. I don't think that that's going to make up the difference here heading into tonight. And I'm more than happy to talk about some props if you want to tell me what you're thinking off the top of your head before we dig into it.
Yeah, I think this game is completely dangerous for anyone betting Tampa tonight. It looks like such a easy reaction to say, you guys take Tampa, because there's no way defending championships, going for the 3P, that they can't pull off a win at home. But I'm with you. I think Colorado is just so stacked on both sides. As long as they protect Kemper, this is going to be a great one. There was a couple I was looking at. Victor Hedman, I was looking at his shots on goal to the under 2.5. We're getting a little bit of plus money. I'm getting that at plus 105. I don't think he gets those shots. I think that Colorado plays another game where they are blocking him out, not giving him the ability to get these shots. I think if anyone was to get a goal tonight for Tampa, it would be Stamkos. I would be looking at him because I think he has been super limited, and we know he has the talent, know he has the ability there. For Colorado, looking at their props, Josh, I was looking at Nathan McKinnon overshots on goal, but that's highly juiced. I think something safe, though, to take is looking at a goalie prop, taking Kemper under his save shots on goal, because I just don't see Tampa being able to come in here and get 28 plus shots on him. The number's 27.5. So taking it to the under is minus 110. And I love that. That's what I was.
That's my favorite play too. That's Kemper under 27.5. My favorite play. But it was odd. It opened up today. I expected it to open up at 26.5, maybe even 26, maybe even 25.5 after that game. It opens up at 27.5, minus 130 to the under, which I jumped on quickly because I assumed the number was going to drop. And then I look at it just now, and it's gone the other way. So you can get it at minus 120 under 27.5. I know I'm on the wrong side of the market, and it'd be nice to get closing line value, but I still think that number's it doesn't correlate well with the over and the under. The total, sitting at 6, leaning heavily to the under. So definitely like the under there. And you touched well on the fact that you don't think Hedman's going to get some shots through. We are at that point in the playoffs where it's all in for Colorado. One more win and they've pretty much secured it. You wouldn't be surprised to see a little more guys laid on the line tonight. I know they probably already been in lanes and blocking shots, but you know what I mean? Some other guys who aren't in those usual conversations in the block shot could get in a couple ways. And guys like Hedman would be the first suspect or the first victim of getting shots blocked, I would think. So
yeah, absolutely.
Burakovsky, out, probably out, more doubtful than probable. Kadri, again, more doubtful than probable. So we see Arturi Lehkonen probably move up to the second line with Rantanen and Comfer. He's plus 100 or even money to get a point. I'd like something like that. Lehkonen also plays on PP1. So, plus 290 for a PP point. He doesn't get a ton of touches. He plays the net front or the bumper guy. So plus 290 there. Point game time decision. So that third line could be pretty bad. You talked about Kucherov, Stamkos. Kucherov, Palat, Stamkos are the only players on Tampa Bay right now averaging at least 1 point per game at home. And then it falls off a cliff, and then you got Colton Ross at 0.5 points per game as the next forward on that list. So pretty heavily reliant on that Kucherov, Palat, Stamkos line. And frustration's probably going to set in. And I think you touched it on it earlier, saying that if things go bad, things could go bad south. And it's really scary to jump on Tampa Bay. Avs on the road, like I said before, just a wagon. Makar, 1.86 points per game. But Devin Taves, 1.14 points per game. And Bowen Byram, just under 1 point per game. So they're getting a lot of help from the defense on the road, as I know matchups are huge. And we obviously have to talk about Nichushkin.
Yep.
Absolutely insane what he's doing. And I think the idea that he's an unrestricted free agent also plays into the fact that he's looking to get paid, and he will get paid.
Absolutely, he will. He's going to get paid big time, that's for sure. And he's coming out and showing everyone exactly what he's got. We got to talk about Cale Makar, his block shots on goal. I cannot get a good number on this. I'm only getting over 1.5 at minus 200. So, of course, I'm not pulling the trigger there. Are you getting anything good?
I was on it last game.
And it didn't hit, I know.
But just, there weren't a lot of block shots. It's just, they just shut down. They didn't even get in shooting lanes. They just were so fast on the puck.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks when you talk about speed in hockey, it relates to open ice speed and gaining the offensive zone. No, speed can win battles in corners, getting to those pucks first. And that's what they do to Tampa. And Tampa does look slow. Tampa has played a lot of hockey over the last 3 seasons.
Yep.
It's not the youngest team in the league, that's for sure. So I'm hesitant to take Makar. As I
Yep.
look over, I see minus 200 to the over 1.5.
Yeah, and that's all I can get as well.
Yeah, McDonough 2.5 minus 175. So if anything, if I was looking at block shots, I'd probably have to go Tampa just because Colorado's just creating more offense, and
Yep.
someone like Victor Hedman who plays big minutes. I mean, minus 160 over 1.5 is kind of a tough one to swallow. Sergachev minus 150. So there's not a lot of prices. And if you look at books like that and you see those heavily juiced lines, those are for risk reassurance. So they don't want to go too high on things when you see big lines like that. So no one's really going to jump on, I don't know, Cernak at minus 200. So the books are pretty safe when they put out those lines. But right underneath it, Darcy Kemper under 27.5. Love it. I love Nichushkin goal. It's plus 290. Plus 250, which is a great deal because it's at plus 190 everywhere. That's at bet 365. Darren Helm plus 750 to score. Another one of these unrestricted free agents. They're kind of thin down the middle. He does get a lot of shifts that start in the defensive zone.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Tampa's or
I like that.
Colorado's
That's
been pretty
definitely worth
fluid.
a sprinkle.
Oh, I mean, if you're looking for a long shot, he's been skating hard. He's been physical and he's been all over. So that's exhausting. That's exhausting my player props. I do like a lot though.
Yeah, it's going to be a great night on the ice. Do you think we see a better performance out of Vasilevsky, or do you really think Colorado has his number?
We saw with those 2 goals. We saw with Josh Manson's goal, and then I forget who scored the other goal. It was the exact same goal going down the wing on the off wing, low blocker side. Reporters asked Josh Manson about it, and he's like, oh, I wasn't really looking. He was playing it down. But then he kind of said after that, no, we have been scouting him and know that that's probably where we have to beat him. So the book might be out on him. You see them going that side very often. There was another one that I think they rang off the post. So maybe they know how to beat Vaz. Things could go south again. It's just, it's a scary game.
7 goals against him in game 2. I never would have expected that at all.
I know there's the betting angle too, that getting blown out the game before makes you more determined in the next game. And we saw that as a Toronto Maple Leaf fan. You saw that in the series versus Tampa Bay and in the regular season just before the playoffs. But I think this is much different. I think with the speed, it's just something, you hear it all the time. You can't teach speed and you just can't match up. Last change, like I said, probably won't be the difference in this game. And with Tampa just not being to the first person on the puck or able to gain zone entry, it's a tough road for them. And I'm really surprised to see the book move towards the Tampa Bay going minus 115. So my money's on Colorado today. I might go 1.5 units on the money line and put the other half unit on the puck line, and then maybe another quarter unit on minus 2.5. Might ladder that up a bit, but I don't know if I can trust the over. I mean, 6 is nice. I'll probably play the over.
You got to.
No, I can't not after it. Kemper's just so bad.
Yeah. Josh, you've got me convinced. I'm going to be playing Colorado for the full game after this. I've been on the fence all day if I wanted to get there. I love putting a sprinkle on that puck line as well. I think you're on the money with it. If they're going to win, they're going to win big tonight.
Yeah, I just think the things that Tampa needs to adjust aren't things that you can easily adjust without the right personnel. And I think at this time of the season, I think they could be running on fumes and short in confidence.
Absolutely. Josh, where can everyone follow you and everything that you have going on at Covers tonight?
If you need to reach me, I'll be on my computer, and you can find me on Twitter randomly talking about sports throughout the day and lines and things I'm betting and things I'm thinking about betting. And I don't know, betting, I guess. That's how I wake up in the morning and just look at lines and write about betting and go to bed and rinse and repeat. It's a good life, Joe.
I've got to ask a question. Can you go to bed when you still have a bet out there without checking your phone until morning?
It's something I've had to change in my life. It's something that as a bettor, you definitely lose sleep. Like, I don't like betting West Coast games, but I could probably be asleep before an Angels game start. And then the worst, it's such a progression. So you don't do it, and then you slowly wake up in the middle of the night to check the score. And now I've done it so much that I can sleep in and then check it because my emotions have slowly been checked out of bad beats and such.
Absolutely. I love that. I know that if I try to go to sleep when a game is on, I wake up about 5 times to check that score. And the
I have
5 times
so
are
many
within 5 minutes.
dreams.
I
I
know.
have dreams, like lucid dreams about winning the play that feel so real. And then you wake up and it's a loser and you don't understand.
Yeah. And then I've had times where I've had this loser and I was like, please be a dream. No, it was real. So
Yeah. No,
we've all
it
been there.
definitely can affect your sleep cycle. I'm glad you brought that up.
Absolutely. Well, Josh, it was a pleasure having you on again. Can't wait to have you on again shortly, soon. You know what I'm talking about. Thank you for joining me
Awesome,
here
Joe.
today.
No, thanks. And to one of the hardest working people in the industry, we appreciate the work that you put bringing everybody together, Joe. Enjoy your Monday. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your bets. We'll talk to you soon.
Best of luck tonight, Josh. Thanks. You guys
Cheers.
make sure you go over and give Josh a cover on Twitter, covers_Josh. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks.